Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Let's see. How is everyone? Okay, we are on YouTube. And, looks like, okay, we are only on YouTube tonight. That's okay. Chris is not here today. Okay. Let's let people know. We're going to let people know. All right. I'm going to let them know. Hey, bear with me, guys. I didn't know this was going to happen. I apologize. Let's do video. Turn that puppy around. How do we turn it around? Turn it around. Nope, that's not it. Nope. Oh boy. Discard. Is this it? Yep. Hey guys, I just want to let you know I am streaming live on YouTube right now. So go to the YouTube channel. Chris is not here, so his Facebook is not streaming currently. So go to the YouTube channel and join the chat room right now. Thanks. Bye. Hey guys, I just want to let you know. All right, guys. Hang on. Now I got to post that. Now I have to post it on the group. Okay. Oh, so I'm alone tonight, guys. Ooh, what is this? I don't know what that is. Halloween. Did something happen? I don't know. Come on. I'm just waiting for this video to load up so that I can post it to the group and get started. Is anybody here? One person. We still have about 10 minutes before we get started. So let me finish doing this and let's open the chat room. I love trying to figure all this out. The screen looks so different without Chris here. Who dat? Who dare? Right? Look at my hair. I've been sweating like crazy. Why won't this load? Hi, Mike. Hey guys, anybody that's here? So Taboo, A Couple's Journey, that's Mike, my Mike. And that's our podcast. So you guys should go, so click on him and then subscribe to our channel, please. I'll say it again and once some more people get here. Be warned though, it's not like this podcast or this. Oh, he's Mike. You're here on both. Why'd you do that? You want me to plug Scared Shitless also? Which I should do because it's Halloween week. So you guys, if you're into horror movies, okay, there's nobody here right now, but it's being recorded. So if you're into horror movies, and you like to talk about them, like to hear people talk about them, click on Scared Shitless Podcast. Go to YouTube, Scared Shitless Podcast. If you want to do it right now, it's in the chat room. Just click on Scared Shitless Podcast and subscribe. Subscribe to that channel. And this week they're doing I don't know, Mike, are you going to do it? I suggested it. Oh no, we're doing it. Ugh, I forgot. What are you guys doing this week? They're doing, what are you doing? Halloween 3? I think Halloween 3. Oh, good. Sorry, guys. It finally loaded. It loaded. All right. I got to post this over at the group. Let me do that. And then I'm all yours. All all yours. Share group. How the heck do you get to a group? Oh, right there. Oh, I'll get it. All right. Now. All right. I'm all yours now. Hi, Owen. Halloween 3's this week. Okay. That's what I thought. It is a terrible movie. I've never seen it. I watched it. Was that this morning, Mike, that we watched it? I think it was this morning. We watched it, and not a great movie, I gotta say. Pretty bad. I mean, it was worse than any made-for-TV movie, in my opinion. Like, there's a lot of made-for-TV movies that are better. My hair's really bothering me, guys. Ugh. No sound. Uh-oh. No sound? Mike, why didn't you tell me there's no sound? Mike, can you hear me, or is it Owen, or is it me? What do you mean there's no sound? It's on. I'm not muted. Can anybody hear me? I would think you would have told me if you couldn't hear me, Mike. Okay, everybody ignore me. That's okay. We can do that too. You can hear me fine? Because you hear me in the bedroom, or you actually hear me on the computer? Which is it? I don't have Mike sitting next to me tonight because last week he was a distraction, and he's not going to join. He won't join. Okay, you can hear me. Owen, you need to check your, I don't know, your microphone or your audio, because everybody else can hear me. Oh shoot, I guess. Can somebody type that in there? Can somebody tell Owen that you guys can hear me? Oh well, you guys already said it. Never mind. I will wake up here in a moment. You hear me on me. I hear you on me phone. Okay. Oh, guys. So I'm probably going to edit all this out. Yes, I've actually started editing out the preamble BS. I figured that it's going to be a turnoff for people, so I've started cutting it out. Anyway, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Y'all ready for Halloween? It's you, not me, Owen. Okay, can he not read? Owen. Everyone else can hear me. Check your audio. I like that, Abby. It's not you, it's me. All right. Why did it post twice? Host and unfiltered. What? Okay, I don't know what that's about. Don't know what that's about. All right, guys. So what's going on? Can't complain. My girlfriend is wearing me out, though. What is she doing, Mike? How is she wearing you out? What's up? Do tell. Spill the beans. Give us the tea. What's the 411? Huh? Sounds like a complaint to me. What do you guys think? So I brought a brush because my hair is drying, and I don't want it to look funny, although I don't know if that's going to help. Come on, Mike, what's going on? Let's hear it. You opened that door. You opened it up. Now tell us how she's wearing you out. Oh, guys, my hair. It's all on the other podcast. No, it's not. No, it's not. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean it's all on the other podcast? He's talking about our taboo. Oh, my hair, guys. I'm dying here with this hair. This hair is just driving me insane. This is Mike's fault. I just want you to know. Right here, this is all Mike's fault. My hair is horrible tonight, and it's Mike's fault. All Mike's fault. Oh well. I'm just gonna have to have it look funny. So the other podcast he's talking about is Taboo: A Couple's Journey. If you look back on the in the chat, you'll see a comment from Taboo, and you can click on it and you can follow the YouTube channel. You can subscribe. But I am going to warn you, if you do that, it is not like this podcast, okay? You have been warned, guys. You've been warned. It's uncensored, right, Mike? So we weren't going to put it on YouTube because we thought that it was a little too graphic or explicit to put on YouTube. But I found podcasts kind of along the same lines of topic, and they've got 36,000 followers, subscribers. So apparently it's okay. So we're posting ours. So we have 5 episodes on our YouTube channel. So if you're interested, it's go, Mike. Can you post again from that account so they can click it if they want to? Owen, you subscribed to it, didn't you? Oh, he can't hear me. I think Owen subscribed to it. We don't have. No, we just started it. Just started it today. He couldn't have. He needs to. What time is it? Oh, it's 7:02. Let's get started. Okay, guys. Welcome back to Unfiltered Real Talk with Christine and Chris Anthony. How's everybody doing? Chris is not here again. I know I said he would be here this week, and we were going to do part 2 of the oh my gosh, the podcast from last week. We were going to do part 2, and if you want to listen to part 1, you can go ahead and go back to last week's and listen to it. And then next week, Chris is going to be here. And I apologize for saying he was going to be here today for his part, the part 2. And it's not just him. We're going to just finish the topic. And the topic was about dating multiple people at one time, right? I called it, I don't remember what I called it. But it was about options. It was about options. It was basically, honestly, what I wanted it to be about was being careful when you date multiple people, because if one of those people that you are dating ends up being your person and you end up falling in love with them, there could be hurt feelings when they come to find out, and they probably will eventually, if not right away, when they come to find out that you were pursuing other people hard, if that's the case. And that was what I wanted to talk about. You know, how do you deal with it if you've got a couple of people that you are pursuing and you're hot and heavy for both of them or all 3 of them, and then you end up with one, and then the one you end up with finds out that you were saying no to them and you were pursuing the others. And then what if they find out, or it appears that the other one that you were pursuing hot and heavy over them, and say the timeline shows this, say that they can see it with their own eyes, that you preferred that other person. And then they find out the other person dumped you or wasn't interested in you. And then you go to the other person and you try to tell that person, oh, well, you were my first choice. And the whole thing unravels. You know, I mean, to me, it's such a slippery slope. And I wanted to talk about that because Mike and I had a little bit of an experience with that. And I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to talk about what it could do to a future relationship. I wanted to talk about, trust. Does it help to garner trust or to grow trust between a couple when that's kind of looming there. Anyway, it was a whole thing, and Chris has kind of got a little bit of that going on in his life right now, and so I definitely want to talk to him. So we will be doing the second part next week. And before that, I want to point out in the chat room right now, Taboo: A Couple's Journey. It says, hey, if you're interested in following that podcast, go ahead and click it and you can follow it. But again, I'm going to warn you, look at the title, Taboo. If you're not into, out of the box kind of thinking when it comes to relationships and intimacy and definitely about a relationship, growing a relationship. If you're not interested in explicit, honest conversation with a couple of people who are not, what would you say, mainstream, then don't click on that link. Please do not, because I don't want emails saying, or you guys to come back to this podcast and say, why did you tell me to go to that podcast? Because it was too much. I've warned you. But if you're interested, if I've piqued your interest, go ahead and click Taboo: A Couple's Journey and subscribe. We're doing a new episode tomorrow night. That one. Okay, so Mike Scared Shitless Podcast is doing Halloween 3. They're going to do a review. They'll be doing that on Sunday night. And he's got other reviews of other horror movies on his YouTube channel. So if you're interested in horror movies and you want to follow his podcast, click on his link and subscribe. If you want to follow Taboo, click on it and subscribe. Tomorrow night, we are doing another episode. And since it's Halloween, we are doing it on, and this will give you an idea of the crazy stuff we talk about. I hesitate. Like, Mike, quickly tell me, don't say it. I'm going to wait a second. Scream at me or just say it from the other room. Don't say it. It's too much. They can't handle it. If I don't hear anything, I'm going to say what the topic is for tomorrow night on the other podcast. I don't hear anything. So tomorrow night's topic is necrophilia. So that I think that goes right along with Halloween and creepy, weird stuff that also goes with, fetishes and kinks and all that. And that's the kind of stuff we talk about on Taboo. So if that is anything, I'm not saying interests you like in practice, but I mean, like, movies and reading about it and, necro what? If that's something that makes you go, go ahead, follow the link. All right, guys. So since Chris is not here, I'm done plugging all the other podcasts. If you're interested, follow them, subscribe. But since Chris isn't here tonight, I picked a topic that I have talked about before on my podcast. And my podcast is this podcast before Chris was my co-host. We did have a bit of a, not a theme change. Was it a theme change? I don't know. I've always talked about relationships and intimacy, but a little bit unfiltered, which is where the name comes from. A little bit unfiltered. More, we are very, what do I want to say? Mild mannered on this podcast compared to what my podcast used to be. And if you're interested in that, it's all going to be on our Patreon page. But now we're much more mild mannered around here. So I did talk about this topic. Hi, Vicki. Glad you made it. And hi, Monica. And hi, Kathy. So I did talk about this topic, but it's been a long time and we've never talked about it here with you guys. So, and I know we have a whole bunch of new people that watch the podcast. So I'm going to talk about it again. And it is a dead bedroom. Does anybody know what a dead bedroom is? So a dead bedroom is a relationship, a committed relationship, whether it's a marriage or a partner, but a long-term committed relationship that has ceased to have sex. And I do say that I consider, even if you're down to once every 3 or 4 months, or, once on your birthday, or, oral once a year kind of thing, I still think that's a dead bedroom. That's definitely not normal. I mean, it definitely shouldn't be normal. That might be your normal, but it shouldn't be. And I lay you odds, it doesn't resemble the beginning of your relationship when it started. So that would be a dead bedroom. There's a dead marriage and a dead bedroom. A dead bedroom is about what's going on in the bedroom is dead, but your marriage isn't. You still love each other. You still do everything exactly the way you did in your marriage. You've always done in your marriage. It's just the intimacy is gone. And see, I say the word intimacy because of my audience. It's like, know your room, right? Okay, I say, but truly what I mean is because the sex is gone, because you could still have intimacy. Intimacy comes in lots of different forms. There are people that haven't had sex in many, many years, but are still intimate. They hold hands, they speak nicely to each other. They might hug, or, whatever. There are other ways to be intimate without having sex. So a dead bedroom has no intimacy and has no sex. Excuse me, a dead bedroom has no sex, but there still may be intimacy on the outside, outside of the bedroom. A dead marriage, it's all dead. You don't have the intimacy in the bedroom. You don't have it out of the bedroom. You basically live separate lives. You're just not on the same page anymore. You honestly don't even want to be around each other. And it might not even be animosity. Oh, good. Oh, and I'm glad you got it fixed. It might not even be animosity between you. It may be amicable, but there's no relationship left. You might as well be roommates. And I've talked to a lot of men, not a lot of women, I got to say, mostly men, over the years, who are in relationships like that. Now, I have talked to some men who are in relationships like that, not because of any decision, like a conscious decision that either party made. It happened because of, say, a medical issue. But I do believe that even when it's caused because of a medical issue, I still think there's probably intimacy in the marriage. So I don't think it's a dead marriage. It is obviously a dead bedroom, but for medical reasons. That's different. And I actually have episodes on, uh, uh, losing your sex life due to medical reasons. And I talk a lot about that. But that would not be the type of dead bedroom I'm talking about. So I don't know if you've ever experienced a dead bedroom. And for tonight, I just want to talk about the dead bedroom. I don't want to talk about the dead marriage. I just want to talk about the sex part. Assuming that the marriage part is still on track. You're raising your kids together, or your fur babies. You're a partner in every way except in the bedroom. And so from talking to couples and talking to just individual men and women over the years, I have come to realize that it's heavy on the side of the women, that it doesn't bother them so much. Women tend to, after they've been in a marriage for a little while, say maybe 5 years, they tend to really gravitate away from the sex. Not everybody's that way, but a lot of women are. And men tend to accept it, and they will accept it. Some men will accept it their entire marriage, and not even cheat, but they're not happy. They're happy whenever they're getting that intimate moment on the outside of the bedroom. Yes, but there's always going to be the sadness of what's lost from inside the bedroom. And the woman doesn't usually care. She's very satisfied. Very satisfied with the arrangement that they have. Women very often, especially as they get older, are really okay with moving into a friendship, or, well, yeah, like a friendship place with their spouse. And I mean, I have a lot of opinions about this. And I guess they're probably not very female friendly. I mean, I don't fall down on the side of, yeah, I get it, that's okay or whatever. I've actually had men tell me that their wife, won't have sex anymore because it's uncomfortable because she's dry, because she's 45 or whatever, and she's going through perimenopause. And I get it, that makes sense. And I'll ask them, well, has she gone to, and not her regular doctor, because regular MDs, they typically won't even talk to you about hormone therapy, even bioidenticals. They won't talk to you about anything that's even safe, plant derived, nothing. They just say, this is the way it is. This is the way it is. It's part of life. And I personally do not subscribe to that thought. So I'll ask the men, have you suggested she go to a homeopathic or a naturopathic or, a nurse practitioner who practices alone to talk about hormone replacement, bioidenticals, something that is safer for her, to try to help with that, to even just go talk, go get her blood tested, go, just take initiative. And and I can't tell you how many men have said, either I try to talk to her and she gets really pissed off, and so we can't talk about it, or she just flat tells them, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm okay with not having sex anymore. I'm totally okay with the way our life is. And here's the thing. I respect that she has a right to say what she wants to do with her life and her body, right? Absolutely 100%. I get it. What I'm not okay with is the disregard for the spouse. I do not understand how somebody enters into a monogamous, committed relationship with another person, and then just because things aren't going the way they were, they think they have the right to make a unilateral decision for the couple. Something so big as to, we're not having sex anymore. And they don't just, it's not just we're not having sex anymore. You're not having sex anymore. And a lot of people in these situations, they want their spouse to, and I'm going to say spouse because I don't want everybody feeling like I'm like picking on women. I'm sure there has to be men out there that probably, maybe they have a touch too much estrogen in their system, or whatever, and maybe they go through this type of thing too, where they just don't want it anymore. Whoever it is, to decide unilaterally that neither one of you are having sex anymore, and you're going to adjust and figure out how to live life from now on that way. And this is not a reason to get divorced. This is not a reason to have an affair. This is not a reason to watch porn. This is not a reason to masturbate. This is not a reason to do anything like that. So I don't want you doing that. That is not an option. That is not something we're doing. We both are moving into this new place in life where we are going to be friends. It's going to be great. We're going to become empty nesters, and we're going to start hiking, and we're going to start camping, or we're going to start vacationing. We're just not going to have sex anymore. And this happens. And these people expect their spouse to stay faithful and happy. And if this happens to you and you accept it, then you accept it, right? You accept it. You can't sit around and complain about it. Also, you can't go and have an affair, or you can't do any of the things that she doesn't want you or he doesn't want you doing. You can't, because you've accepted it. So what's the alternative? The alternative is to talk to them, and nobody wants to do this. They don't want to have this discussion, which is something that I talk about. When you're starting a relationship, make sure, if you cannot talk to the person that you're dating about these intimate discussions, whether you're intimate or not at the moment, it doesn't matter. You should be able to talk about these things. If you cannot talk about these things, okay, we're adults. We're all adults. We're all older people dating older people, in most cases, or we're married to people our age, and we should be able to have intimate discussions. If you cannot have this kind of discussion with the person you're dating, then how are you ever going to have a relationship where you can communicate about these things? People get, how about a hall pass? No. Okay, no, Kathy, a hall pass is fine if it's mutually agreed upon. If he or she comes to the other one and says, look, I get it. You're not interested anymore. This doesn't work for me. I don't want a divorce, but we got to talk about it. We got to figure this out. Either you're going to, you know, be with me to a satisfactory amount, whether you want to be or not, or you're going to allow me to help myself. And if you walk in on me, you're not going to be upset about it. Or, oh, she says she's kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I mean, I hadn't got to the solutions yet. There are lots of different things that you can do. And that is one of them. You can definitely, I talked to a man about 4 years ago. I talked to a man and he was a friend. Well, he became a friend. And he was in a marriage where this had happened. She turned 50. She was not interested in sex anymore. And she just quickly fell into the role of grandma and empty nester and retired and gardening. You know what I mean? Just necrophilia. How did we get to necrophilia? Abby, what's going on? Anyway, so she was there and he wasn't. He still wants to be extremely, extremely active. And what he does is he masturbates a lot, and he does it, you know, incognito, when she's sleeping, when she's away. And he feels really guilty about it because she doesn't want him doing it. She doesn't understand why he's still in a place in his life where he wants to be intimate, why he can't be satisfied by the type of intimacies they have, which is just sharing a life together, and doing things together, traveling and eating dinner together, and, you know, chores together and adulting together. For her, that's completely satisfying. To him, it's not, and she doesn't get it. But she did tell him, because he talked to her about it, and she did tell him, I understand, and I'm not going to change the way that I feel. So I'm going to say this once. If it happens, it happens. I don't want to hear about it, and we will never discuss it again. And there was more said, but she was basically saying, I'm giving you permission if it comes down to that, if that needs to happen to keep you happy and to stay married, you know, because I don't want to go through that. I don't want to get a divorce. I enjoy being married. So if you need to do that, okay, but I don't want to hear about it. I don't want it to bleed into my life. If it does, we'll have problems. As long as it doesn't, no harm, no foul. And he never has. He's come really close. And I think that's very dangerous, honestly, because he hasn't done it. I'm afraid that he feels like when he crosses that line, he won't be able to go back. He won't be able to stay married. So it's been a few years, like 6 years, 7 years, and he hasn't done it. And I don't know that he will for that reason, but he's unhappy, you know, and this is the only life you have. This is it. This is it. And none of us should be living in a relationship that we're unhappy in. And it starts with talking to your spouse or long-term partner about the fact that it's unacceptable. And it's okay to say that. It is okay to say it's unacceptable. Sexless marriages are like romantic comedies if you cut out all the romance and keep the arguments. Romantic comedies. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, and that's very true. And the arguments and the mundaneness of day-to-day life doesn't go away, but the sex did. The sex went away. The sex was the thing that made it all worth it to some people. You know what I mean? The sex, the intimacy. So you still might have the intimacy on the outside of the bedroom. Okay, I gotta say, I talked to a man once in a sexless marriage. So he's got a dead bedroom, not a dead marriage. They're still intimate. And I even found out that when they're in bed, she wants to hold his hand. She wants to snuggle him. And I'm like, how do you do that? Because I'm just going to say, this is like a 38-year-old man, 38 years old. She's his age, and she doesn't want it anymore. And there's nothing medically wrong with her. She's just not interested. And And it happens. But she still wants to hug and kiss and snuggle in bed in her night clothes. You know what I mean? And I'm like, how do you do that? He is a really good looking, well built in all ways man. And he's an extremely man, like, like a dominant sort of man. And I can't figure out. And I asked him, how do you do? Well, first I said, so do you do that? I expected that he would say, hell no, I tell her, if you can't have it both ways. You can't tell me that you don't want to have sex with me and then expect me to lay next to you in bed and hug on you and not have sex with you. And he said, no, I don't do that. I hold her hand. I let her snuggle me. And I'm like, how do you do that? And he said, I mean, I love her. And I mean, just because, we're not in love anymore, just because he has fallen out of love with her, because they're not intimate anymore. He still cares for her, and he doesn't want to hurt her. She doesn't want a divorce. He doesn't want to go through a divorce. They've still got kids at home. Okay, but that's his choice. The only thing I don't agree about that he does is he plays online with people. Like he gives his emotions to people, and he plays, and she's not aware. She thinks everything's just great with their relationship. It's how she likes it. She thinks it's awesome, and it's not. But he allows that to continue. And I feel like some days that would explode. You've got to talk to each other. You've got to be able to talk to each other. And the person who is unhappy has to say, I'm unhappy. And that's okay. It's okay to be unhappy. It's your life too. The other person doesn't just get to say, we've moved into a new phase of life, and we're not doing that anymore. Okay? Okay. You're okay with that, right? Sure. That's not realistic, and it happens all the time. So, yeah, I do not agree. I think the only solution is to have that conversation. I think that the people who are unhappy need to say they're unhappy. I think the people who are making these decisions for no intimacy need to start being more realistic. And I definitely think, unfortunately, that a divorce needs to happen unless you can accept whatever the outcome is. And if you accept what the outcome is, then you can't complain about it. And you also can't do any of the things that she said or he said that they don't want you to do. Have affairs, watch porn, give yourself emotionally to other people, any of that stuff. If your spouse has said, look, this is the way it is. This is the way it is. If you want to stay married to me, this is how we're doing it. If you don't agree, then you need to have that final conversation with them. Tell them you don't agree. Ask them if they're serious. Tell them that your only alternative, your only solution is to get a divorce. If they don't back down, then that's what you've got to do. You've got to get the divorce, because it's your life and you need to take control. But if you don't want to do that and you accept their terms, then you need to shut the hell up. You can't complain. You can't get shitty about it. This is for the rest of your life. That doesn't mean you can't change your mind. Look, she changed her mind, or he did, whoever did. They married you and said, yeah, we got this great sex life. And then they pulled the rug out from underneath you. So yes, change can happen. But I'm just saying, if you make the decision to stay and you make the decision to follow by their terms, then you need to smile, suck it up, and make the best of it, because it was your choice. You always have a choice. And I get so sick of people who choose to stay in relationships. They have choices, and they're, no, I don't have a choice. Finances, our finances are tied up. Children, I can't. No. Even if your choice was made because you have children at home or you have finances you don't want to separate, it's still your choice. right? It's still your choice. That was a choice you made. Nobody put a gun to your head and said, you can't, you got to stay. It was a choice you made. And if that's the choice you make, you have to make the best of it, and you can't be a martyr, and you can't give your spouse a hard time. You have to do the best you can. And when if the day comes that you can't do it anymore, then you have another conversation with them and you tell them, I have changed my mind. I can't do this. And if they dare to say, how can you change your mind? You promised. You said it was okay. You say, well, you fucking promised that we were going to have sex for the rest of our lives. And then you decided we're not. So, fair is fair, right? It is what it is, guys. What good is talking if no one compromises? You're right. Okay, wait. When people are unhappy, they need to be honest with themselves. Ending the marriage is inevitable. I absolutely agree, Kathy. I think that's what I'm saying. I understand if you want to continue to give it a try, but too many people decide that they want to continue giving something a try, and they act like a martyr, or they treat their partner like shit because they put them in this position, right? You made these decisions, you made me miserable. No, you are a big adult person. You can talk to them. If they do not want to compromise, if they do not want to, have a relationship with you that is acceptable to you, then you can leave. If you decide that it's too hard to leave for whatever reason, that is your choice. Stay, shut the hell up, suck it up, smile and be happy, because it's the life you chose. No, being in a sexless marriage is not the life you chose when you got married. I get it. But when it's happened and you are adult enough to have the conversation with your spouse about what is going on, and at the end of that conversation, regardless of the outcome, you decide to stay, that's your choice. Now your marriage has changed. Your relationship has changed. It used to be the person you married and all the promises you made. Now it's changed, and you've had the conversation, and so the roles have changed. It looks different than it did when you started. You're either going to accept that or you're not. If you accept it, you need to be as happy in that new role as you were when you got married, because it's your choice. Don't decide to stay and then make them pay for it until you get the balls to leave, right? Sad when sex becomes a chore or a begrudging obligation. I think it happens in a lot of marriages, but also a lot of divorce and cheating. In a lot of marriages, but also a lot of divorce and cheating. I'm sure there is a correlation, but not necessarily causation. I'm not sure I understand. I think it happens in a lot of marriages. I agree, it happens in a lot of marriages, but also a lot of divorce and cheating. I'm not sure. Are you saying sometimes the marriage turns into the only time you have sex, it's a chore for that one person, but sometimes it also ends in divorce, and sometimes it ends in cheating? All these different things happen, which, if that's what you mean, absolutely. Yeah. And talking about the obligation thing. So one of the things that when you talk to your partner about the fact that sex has changed or sex is gone, one of the things that you're probably going to offer your partner is, look, I'll stay as long as you can muster up the compassion, or whatever you want to call it, pity, to have sex with me once every 2 weeks. I can that is acceptable. And, like Kathy said, what if there's no compromise? Okay, that would be a compromise. And if your partner said, fine, I will do that. I think I can do that. I think I can manage to lay down once every couple weeks and let you whatever. If you think that is going to be an enjoyable experience with a person who has made it very clear that they're not interested anymore, you have another thing coming. Because even if they could fake it, or even if they weren't aware that it was something they missed, and they actually did enjoy it the first time because it's been maybe years, Don't expect a repeat. And if they keep to their obligation, to their promise of every couple of weeks, you can expect it to be a chore. You can expect it to feel like a chore, to sound like a chore, to feel like a chore. And again, if that was a choice you made, then you need to be aware. I mean, who would offer that sort of a thing and not expect it, right? You would expect that it would not be any good. I mean, there are marriages out there where that's just what it's come down to. It's just come down to they don't have a dead bedroom per se, but what they do share is very few and far between. And when it happens, it's like, can we just get this over with? Or why do you take so long? Stuff like that. It's like, lots of sighing and, just like being unhappy, and all the body language that's going to tell you that, that they're not happy with it. They don't want you touching them, and, oh, don't kiss me. Does that sound like fun? I don't know why anybody would want to stay in a relationship like that, but I certainly would never advocate for somebody to walk out of a marriage like that either, unless they talk about it. I would not be in a relationship that I couldn't. And even if my spouse was, I don't know, shy about that topic, I would still look, it's my life. I would still walk straight up to them and be like, look, this is not working for me. This is what you do, and I would point it out too. I would be like, I mean, if they're like, whoa, when does that happen? Would you want me to point it out the next time? I'm happy to point it out to you. And I would stop right there. You just did it. You just did it. That's it. I would have no problem. And that's what you have to do. It's your freaking life. I think one of the problems, this is what we talked about a few weeks ago. People sleepwalk through life. People do not realize how freaking important this is. Like, this is your life. How can people not realize how important everything they do in life? You wake up and you go to sleep, and everything in between is important, right? It affects your life. It affects other people's lives. It's freaking meaningful. It's meaningful. You're in a dead bedroom. It might be time for a trip to Cirilla's. Just saying. Okay. So I said, the first thing you need to do is you need to talk about it, right? Now, if it goes well, the person who's not, who's made the unilateral decision, or maybe they didn't make a decision, maybe it's just kind of slowly happened. You talk to them and you let them know, this is unacceptable to me. This is the way it used to be, and this is how it is now. I want something that resembles what we used to have. It doesn't have to be the same, but I need more than what this is. If they are agreeable, if they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I mean, I certainly don't miss it, but I don't want you unhappy either. So see, I care about you. I have compassion for you because you're my spouse. I hadn't thought about it, but now that you bring it up, I guess I can see your side. So what should we do about it? And then, yeah, a trip to Cirilla's, go to Adam and Eve online. Even Amazon has stuff. Do a little research. Go to our podcast, Taboo: A Couple's Journey. Do something. Talk about it. I have lots of ideas for a couple where their sex life has turned to zilch. They're in essence in a dead bedroom, but both partners want it to be better. They don't want a divorce. They would love for things to be the way they were, and they're willing to do the work. That is the best case scenario. And if that happens, then yeah, I don't suggest that you run out to Cirilla's. Okay. I mean, not to contradict Mike, but I would suggest that you start just by talking. And I don't mean talking about the problem, I mean talking about sex, talking about your sex, maybe reminiscing about past sex, things you liked, things you would like to see happen again. Just start there. If you enjoy wine or a drink, have a drink, sit down, and have a chat. Just a non threatening, mutual conversation about intimacy. You two and intimacy. And that's where you start. And then hopefully you can continue that conversation, and then you can start talking about fantasies. And I always suggest fantasies because somebody who's let their sex life turn to zero, they were probably in a rut. They were probably very bored. So fantasies is a great way to start, reigniting that spark. So I would definitely start talking about fantasies. And this is just, something between you and your spouse or your partner. And you guys know each other, and you just, it's very intimate. And it also, if you do the work, if you have the conversations, it's also quite the foreplay. So, again, best case scenario, you're going to end up in bed at the end of that conversation. Maybe not the first time, but definitely as your conversations progress and you start loosening up and really, really talking about fantasies and different things that you would like to see happen between the two of you. Yeah, that would help. And then after you have established all of that, conversation, and you guys have got your creative imagination going, then yeah, sure, you could do some online shopping, or you could actually physically go to some place like Cyrillus or whatever's in your state, and put your words into action. But I would say I would not move too fast, especially if you've had a dead bedroom for a long time. I'd be very patient. Being the person on the other end, the person that did not initiate the lack of sex, I would be very patient. And again, it's because, why would I be patient? Why do they deserve that? Because you're making the decision to make this work. You certainly aren't going to make it work by being an asshole, right? I don't care if it's the man or the woman. Don't be a nagging bitch. Don't be an asshole. You're going to be very, very patient. And if it takes weeks, just thank God that you are having the conversation and you've got a willing partner. And the bottom line is it might not work. It might not, but hopefully it will. There are some people who move into an asexual place in life. They could have liked to have sex many times a week. And then the next thing you know, over time, they become asexual and they're just not interested anymore. They may love you enough to try to do it for you, and it might not ever come back. But if you're willing to try, then there are things you can do. And these are things you can do. And you have to be patient. You have to be patient, understanding, and creative and imaginative. And read the room too. Okay. If you've got, let's say, a woman, it's the wife who has created this dead bedroom, and the husband is very much missing it, and very much this is unacceptable to him. And he has told her, okay, he's put up with it for a long time. So I'm just creating this hypothetical for you. And he's saying, he comes to her and he has the conversation and he says, this is unacceptable to me. I can't live like this. I won't live like this, but I don't want this between us to be over. I want to fix. I want you back. And she's willing. For heaven's sake, don't start talking about your interactions and then getting to a point of talking about fantasies and interjecting other people into your relationship. I realize that fantasies can include threesomes, and stuff like that. I get it, but goodness gracious, this is a person, in this scenario, this is a woman who decided she didn't want to have sex with you anymore, and she was perfectly happy with that. You may not be on the right track by suggesting you guys invite a woman home to your bed or a man. I mean, might not be the right move. So you definitely need to read the room. And I'm not saying that that any fantasy is off limits. It's not. They're your fantasies. Do what you want. We don't have a podcast called Taboo for nothing. Okay. I don't shame anybody over what they do in the privacy of their own bedroom. I'm just saying, don't jump into it immediately. You need to nurture this relationship and bring it back to life. It's like watering a plant, weeding your garden and watering it and watching it grow. It's going to take time, and you're going to have to nurture it back to a healthy place. Victoria's Secret visit and or subsequent photo shoot can be just what the doctor ordered. Hey, if he wanted to take me out, if I was, the one who was in a rut, and he ended up asking me if he could take me and buy me all kinds of stuff at Victoria's Secret, and then wanted me to go do a photo shoot, hell yeah. Yeah, I would do that. And that's something like that is good. There's all kinds of things you can do, but you have to have a willing partner. And that's the first step. And you're not going to get a willing partner unless you have the conversation. And too many people just don't want to have the conversation. They don't want to. Do you know how many people actually tell me that they are separated or getting a divorce, and I ask them how the conversation went? And I always ask this because I'm so afraid of the answer. But I always say, so how did the conversation go when you guys had your conversation about fixing things before before you decided to separate? And we didn't talk about it. We knew it was over. I knew it was over. I knew, and this is very common. I knew what she was going to say. I didn't want to hear it. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're getting a divorce and you never had the conversation? You just said, I know what she's going to say. I know what he's going to say. I don't want to talk about it. All right. Yeah. No, that is really bad. Really bad. But I hear it all the time. I do. All right, guys. I don't know how much more I can say on this topic. It's so different when it's just me sitting here talking to y'all. But I have done an hour. So yay for me. I don't know if the majority of you out there have found this topic interesting. I think that a lot of the people that are that listen to us are single. I don't think we get a lot of actually married or coupled up people. So I don't know how many people this actually affects. I know Owen is married, and he's got his challenges with his wife, his relationship. And maybe someday we'll have to talk about that, Owen. We have in the past, but that is also a conversation to be had, talking about medical changes in a relationship, and how that affects intimacy, and not just physical, right? Not just like you have a heart attack or a stroke or you have cancer, and so you're limited or you can't have sex anymore. But also mental illness. Sometimes a mental illness, a depression, or, there are so many things that could happen that can cause a person to not want to be with someone else, and not want to resemble who they were yesterday. These are these conversations that are hard to have, but they really need to be had. What do you do? Do you get a divorce and walk away? Do you stay? Do you have an affair? I mean, what do you do? It's tough. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about something that's completely under your control. And what you do with something like this is you have the conversation, you say it's unacceptable. Your partner, who has decided that you're not having sex anymore, they are perfectly capable of doing it. They just don't want you. They don't want it. They're not interested. That's a different animal altogether. And you do not have to put up with that. But you do need to have a conversation about it. You do. All right, that's all I got to say. Beach Buddha coffee can help. Little caffeine to get the old engine firing on all cylinders. Oh, Chris will appreciate that plug, Mike. Very good. All right, guys. Vicki, thank you for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed it, even if it wasn't necessarily your cup of tea or, something that applies to you. I hope that you found it interesting. You never know. It could end up being something that affects you at some point in your life. And then you'll be like, aha, we talked about this. I need to talk to my partner. I need to have the backbone to say what needs to be said. I do not need to go out and have an affair. Do not have an affair. Repeat after me. Do not have an affair. No. Talk to your spouse. Talk to your partner. And then, and always before you have an affair, you don't have an affair, you leave. You leave. You leave the relationship. Then you're not having an affair. You're just moving on with your life. And that's okay. That's your choice. All right, guys. That's it. That's all I got. So next week, Chris will be back, and we will continue the conversation from last week's podcast. If you have anything you would like to say about tonight's podcast, you can email me at realtalkwithchristine@gmail.com. Playing dead in the bedroom. We'll see how it goes. Playing dead in the bedroom. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? About our podcast tomorrow night? Necrophilia? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. I almost told you guys a story, but that story is inappropriate for this podcast, and it will be on tomorrow night's podcast. Mike, remind me tomorrow night to talk about the doll. The doll. You know what I'm talking about. Remind me. You know what else you didn't remind me to do? Lock the car. So I'm going to go do that. All right, guys. I'm done. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode with little old me all by myself. No Mike, no Chris, just me. How'd I do? Email me. Give me some encouragement. I have a feeling sometimes I'm going to, be all by my lonesome. Please encourage me. Please. I have a TikTok channel. I have a Facebook. I have a Twitter. I have an email and YouTube, and you can reach out to me on any of them. Lock your car. Thank you, Owen. Text me in 10 minutes and remind me, Owen. Okay? All right, guys. Reach out. Encourage me. Tell me that I did okay last week and this week all by myself. Please. It's been a while. I hope you guys have a great night, and I hope that you have subscribed to the other podcasts. I hope that if you're listening to this and you have not subscribed to this podcast, that you will go to YouTube right now and you will look up Unfiltered Real Talk with Christine and Chris Anthony, and you will subscribe. And I will talk to you guys next week when Chris Anthony will be back with us and talking about what he's been up to the last couple of weeks. He will be on the hot seat. So come back for that. All right, guys?